All right, I want to go ahead and welcome all of you here tonight to this August Next Steps Planning meeting for senior parents and for seniors as well. I'm so glad that you all are here. I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about the things that we're about to start working on and the things that are just important to know that are coming up as far as opportunities and deadlines and such, so that way we can stay organized and manage our time and discover the pathways that our children will be taking. It's really exciting. Parents, this is a tender time because, you know, we all as parents want to be helpful to our students, to our seniors, and support them and also be practical at the same time. And this whole planning process is, as I've said before, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And so, yeah, parents, this is really tender. Our kids are growing up. I just, on Monday, moved my own child into their college dorm room in North Carolina, and I'm still kind of processing that. So I've just recently been through this with my middle child, and I'm really excited to get to work with your seniors this year and making these plans. So yeah, I want to just make sure that you all have all of the information, because you know, this process is really long and it's often it's easy to get it's easy to get overwhelmed by all of the different tasks that are involved. And so that's one of the reasons why we try to break it down into, you know, smaller groups of tasks, so that way it doesn't all feel so overwhelming. I just want to make sure that everybody has the chance to get into the Zoom room, and then I'm going to run through these slides with you all, so that way you'll know what's coming up. So let's see. Sorry, it's just taking me 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment. So let's see what we got. All right. So we're in the month of August right now, right? And we have talked about in the past the end of the school year, we talked a lot about trying to take things a little bit at a time. And so we just have a few things on the agenda for the month of August. And seniors are going to really dig into this starting on Monday, the 21st. We're going to dig into all of these things. I've met with a couple of small groups of students just to run some things by them, because, you know, we really value student voice here at Crosstown. And they have given the thumbs up to all of the things that are on our list. The first being that students who already know, already know for themselves and maybe have been thinking about it and planning it, are students who already know that they want to apply to a four-year college are encouraged to go ahead and create a Common App account. And Common App is just commonapp.org website, or maybe .com. I can't remember actually, because it's all bookmarked in my computer. And when students create their account, I recommend using that college search and planning specific account that you all have probably created. And if not, you know, you can create one, no problem. But yeah, I recommend using that email account. And then I spend time at school with your seniors, kind of walking them through the different sections of Common App. And the point of Common App is that it's one application that works for many colleges that students may or may not apply to. One senior today asked if, there's more of a likelihood that you'll be accepted if you use Common App or don't. And we don't know that to be any kind of trend. But what it does do is it allows your student to really maximize their time, and not spend time filling out so many different applications. It's the great option to be able to like just fill out one application, and then be able to really easily send your applications to several colleges. But yeah, so I like I said, I've talked with a couple of small groups of seniors about Common App and just kind of showed them around, and we'll continue that into next week as well, just so that students who know for sure that they do want to go to a four-year college, and perhaps the colleges they're thinking about use Common App, I do recommend going ahead and filling that out, because it really saves a lot of time. Yeah, it's impressively efficient. Even with like it's few glitches or areas that could use improvement, it's still impressively efficient compared to filling out all of those other applications. Students on Monday morning, all seniors are going to do an orientation, or you could call it an onboarding, for School Links. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that a little later. School Links is a new software platform that we have that is going to make this whole process really, really efficient and easy. It links to Common App, it links to the FAFSA, and is really, really helpful to help your kids both search for careers, search for schools, search for all kinds of different pathways. It is incredibly generous and dynamic in its ability to really meet everybody's needs, regardless of what their plans are after high school. And that's really something that I've been looking for Crosstown students, since we are values equity and making sure that everybody is included in this planning process, so that it's not just for students who are going to a four-year college, that it is for any and everyone. So I just want to make sure that that you all get the information on School Links. One of the fun things about School Links is that there are actually parent or guardian accounts. And so if you want to, you can set that up, and I'll show you all how to do it next week via email. But it also, you can just peek over your senior's shoulder and get a feel for all of the different things that it offers as far as instructions on scholarships and financial aid. It's really a great one-stop shop. So I'll talk about that a little bit later too. And then next week, we'll start working on requesting letters of recommendation. That's something that we do in the School Links platform. And we use School Links for all of those documents that are sent to colleges, like letters of recommendation, transcripts, school reports, anything, or counselor recommendations. Any sort of recommendation or any sort of official school document is sent through School Links. And so that will be something that we will work on with seniors next week and walk them through that process of just, having the conversation, or actually before you even have the conversation, like all of our seniors are encouraged to think about a teacher who they've worked with at some point in the last 4 years, who, they feel like they feel like they're seen and known by that teacher, and they feel comfortable hopefully asking that teacher to write them a letter of recommendation. And that's something that, we definitely use when applying to colleges, but really, truly, all seniors would benefit from having a letter of recommendation when they leave Crosstown High. And that can be for a job, and that could be for an internship or an apprenticeship, or really, truly any opportunity. The value of having a letter of recommendation is really high, and not just for students who are applying to colleges. So just know that that's something that we will definitely be working on starting next week. And then, you know, you hear me talk a lot about the college list and revisiting it and refining it, because it takes many iterations of a college list for it to kind of be, I guess you could say, finalized. And even then, you know, sometimes students may change their mind at the last minute and add one school or remove one school. This is a process of discovery. So that's another thing that's kind of almost always happening in the background is, you know, where is that college list? So that is what we're going to continue to work on this month here in August for the rest of the month. I'm going to move to September just so that you all have an idea of what's coming ahead. I think that I've told seniors and some parents in the past that, you know, I'm a person who doesn't like to have too much on their plate at once, both literally and figuratively, except maybe Thanksgiving. I can do a lot of food then. But like we just like to take things, you know, a chunk at a time, 2, 3, 4 things at the most. So August, we've got, you know, we've talked about that. I'm going to move on to September now, perhaps if I can make this, whoop, let's see what is happening with my computer. Sorry. Okay. We've got September up here. Okay. And so some of the things that are on the agenda for September are repetitive of August, especially those at the bottom. So in September, we're going to begin the first group of seniors who know that they want to apply to colleges that require an essay. We're going to begin a workshop with Rhodes College. And this is, I know that you're probably tired of hearing me say this, but you know, this is our 3rd year working with Rhodes College, and their English students who work with Dr. Rebecca Finlayson. She's their instructor, and we've partnered with them for 3 years. And what they do is they come to Crosstown during the school day and work with our seniors. Usually there will be one student from Rhodes who is like partnered up with 2 seniors from Crosstown, and they work through the process of the pre-work of writing a personal narrative, which can be creating a timeline of your life. It can be specific to the prompts that we see on the Common App for essays. There are many choices for different prompts, but they work through that writing process together. They meet for about 45 minutes each Thursday. I believe it's four Thursdays that they will meet in a row. And so each time they meet together, students from Crosstown get, you know, a lot of really great feedback and some suggestions and kind of inspiration as far as where to start, because not all of us can read a prompt and then immediately, you know exactly what it is that we want to write. It takes some work and it takes some brainstorming and some conversations. And so they will start their first group that will go for 4 weeks on September 7th. And each time they part ways at the end of their workshop session, our seniors will have like a little bit of an assignment to work on in terms of their essay. And I do have some enrichment time during the school day, during the following week for them to work on that. So that way, you know, it's not something that ends up, you know, falling to the wayside or is forgotten. You know, we definitely are consistent and make it a priority. Like, okay, you signed up for this, you got your homework to do, like, let's work on it together. So we'll do that during enrichment time for students who do sign up for that. go ahead and mark your calendars to hop back on Zoom on September 13th. I'll have another Zoom meeting just like this one so that we can talk about the things that we're working on, the things that are coming up. And in particular, in September, we start preparing for the opening of the FAFSA form, which is the free application for federal student aid. FAFSA is an acronym for that application. And so on that Next Steps Zoom on the 13th, I'll talk about the best ways to get ready for it. I think that people can often be intimidated by it, including myself, since I had to fill it out last year. But I'm really glad to have had so much experience with the FAFSA last year, both with my own child, but also assisting other families with filling it out, because I feel like I'm better equipped to be able to help you all. You also might hear in the media in different places that that the FAFSA is changing, and indeed that is true. They are finally probably listening to lots of feedback they've received about how to simplify it. So there are going to be some changes. The FAFSA usually opens October 1st. And as far as I know for sure right now, that is the date when it opens this year. I have heard and read a little bit about some changes that may happen to the FAFSA starting in December. That may be the case. If that is the case, hopefully you will already have filled your FAFSA out, because we want to try to fill that out early and get that done so that our students can qualify for as much aid as possible. So we'll talk more about that in September. And then, okay, September 18th is a really big night. And this, of course, is a great big night for many seniors, but also we will make sure that our juniors are invited to the Memphis Area College Night. And this is a huge event. If you have been to it before, it's usually held at the Agri Center. However, this year is its very first year. It's the inaugural year for it to take place at the brand new Memphis Sports and Events Center. And that is located next to Tiger Lane, near the Liberty Bowl. And so there's this brand new facility and they are thrilled to host all of the college representatives who come for this one night, and they set up these nice tables and they put out all kinds of different swag, but they also just are there to offer information about their schools. We had many students last year of all grade levels who attended the Memphis Area College Night out at the Agri Center. And some of them found schools that they already were interested in, and they got more information about them. Some of our students discovered schools they didn't know a thing about, and then ended up applying to those schools and being accepted and then actually going. So it can really be an exciting and fruitful for some event to come to. If you have like specific questions of different colleges, it's a great place to ask those questions. Or if you're just trying to, gather up as much, as many business cards and brochures as you can, just to know, just to be able to learn more, it's a great place to check that out. And yeah, like I said, it was really kind of amazing to me how many students came last year, and then also learned a lot of when they were there, learned about, new schools, and ended up actually going to these schools. So I'm excited about that. And I really hope that you all will mark your calendar for September 18th for that event. It's really fun. And it's from 6 to 8 p.m. and you don't have to stay the whole time. You can just drop in, do a couple of laps around with your student and then head on. It's not something that you have to stay for. Again, got these items at the bottom of the September list that are just kind of like still kind of going on in the background. We're still going to be working on that Common App because it is not an application that you complete quickly. It's one that takes time. And there are a couple of sections in the Common App that I strongly recommend. In fact, I might even demand that students do them with me. And I only say that because in the past, there have been some students who like are really working hard, and maybe they find their flow on the Common App and they are just like, I just want to do this and I don't want to quit. I just want to get it done. And then they reach one section and crumble because it's complicated in a couple of sections, and I know how to simplify it, and I know what our students need, you know, the information that they need to put in. So you'll hear me, and they will hear me bugging them about that a lot, like just a heads up. All right, let me show you next what we'll look at in October. We're going to be ready for that FAFSA application when it opens on October 1st. However, you know, sometimes their website does get overloaded, especially in that first week. And so it's something that we've got to be patient with. I know that was my experience. I believe I ended up filling it out for my child, maybe like on the 11th of October, just because it was so tough to fill it out. There are those people, some folks, some of you may be the kind of people who are like, I am ready for the FAFSA. I'm going to stay up until 12:01 on October 1st and go ahead and fill it out. Go for it. I will be asleep. But if you have questions the next morning, I'm happy to answer them. So we'll be ready for that on October 1st. And don't worry, I'll have you prepared for it because we'll be back here on Zoom next month and we'll talk about it then. October 3rd is a Tuesday. And on that Tuesday, Crosstown seniors will take the ACT one more time here at school. They do not need to register. They do not need to sign up. There is a little bit of there's one little businessy task that they will do right before the ACT on that day, and parents, no need to worry. I will take care of that business. If it does come up that I need, you know, you all to offer a kind reminder to your senior, I'll bring it up. But that's something that that we'll work on here at school. So there's really, you know, nothing that parents need to worry about in terms of that. And then on October 20th, so that's after the fall break, the second round, and actually that date is not correct. I believe it's October 19th. It's the day before because it's always on a Thursday. And I believe that the 20th is a Friday. I wrote that wrong. Sorry. So October 19th will be when the second round, like the second group of Crosstown students can begin basically like a new rotation with Rhodes students. Those who want to work on their essay with Rhodes students can work on that second round. And we will figure out before September, like within the month of August, who is in the first round and who is in the second round, just according to schedules and application priorities. And we're going to do our best to make sure that everybody lands where they feel most comfortable, whether it's in the first or the second round. And then on Tuesday, October 26th, Crosstown will offer the SAT. Sometimes students, when it comes to standardized testing, maybe prefer one over the other. You know, it's just different for everyone. And there are some seniors who are just curious. You know, they took the ACT because, you know, in the state of Tennessee, it's a graduation requirement. And so we offer it at school anyhow. So maybe they took the ACT, got a certain score and think, you know, I wonder how I would do on the SAT. And if it is the case that your senior is curious about that, and they want to take the SAT, Dr. Beeling is our testing coordinator, and she is the person for them to contact. You seniors who are here, share that info with your friends, but don't worry, because I'm going to give that information to all of the seniors next week, if not sooner, but just so that they know that that's an option. It does require sign up because we have to order the books and we have to make sure we have enough books for each student. But these other things that are on the list with, you know, like with a note next to them or a dot next to them, are those things that are kind of going in the background. And they're things that, again, I will work on with your senior here at school. So parents, you know, it's not all your responsibility. It's not all on you, but just so that you're aware of what we're going to be working on. In October, we're going to work on creating resumes, and that's for everyone, whether they're applying to a college or going into the military or, you know, starting into the workforce. We're going to be prepared and do some resume building. And we're also planning on completing the Tennessee Promise scholarship application. And that is something that every year, so far, all 2 of them, we have actually required of our seniors, for every single senior to fill out that scholarship application. And there are a couple of reasons why we do that. Just so that everybody is on the same page, the Tennessee Promise is a scholarship that the state of Tennessee started, I believe, in 2015, and it guarantees 2 free, completely free years of a 2-year program at any Tennessee College for Applied Technology, at Southwest Community College, and even at some 4-year institutions that have 2-year programs. So that way, students in the state of Tennessee are eligible when they graduate from high school in Tennessee. They're eligible for this 2 years, these 2 free years of college, which is like really amazing and kind of crazy. There are many students who have graduated from Crosstown who maybe like originally were not planning on using it. And then as the year went on and like they had so many paths to choose from, it turned out that that was the best choice for them. And they never would have guessed that at the beginning of the year, but it turned out that it was the best choice for them. So we want to make sure that that option is open to every one of our seniors. And the tricky part about it is that they have a pretty early application deadline. I believe it's either November 1st or November 15th. No, it is November 1st. And so we really prioritize that our seniors fill it out and complete it, because that way that creates another pathway potentially that could potentially be the right fit, even if they don't think so, you know, here in August. So we're going to prioritize that in October. And then, you know, different colleges who have early application windows, the different colleges vary with different dates and deadlines. I usually see November 1st or November 15th as their like really strict deadline. Today I was looking at a college with a student, and December 1st was the early application deadline, or they call it priority. And so those deadlines are serious. There are no exceptions there. And it's a good target for students to hit because, again, this is a marathon and it's long. And, you know, if they think, oh, you know, I think I just want to wait until December or even the beginning of January to apply to my schools, you know, it gets tough there in December and January because they're feeling fatigued and burnt out on the process. So, you know, every student is different, but, you know, if your student it has the energy and it seems like they've got the momentum going, like I highly recommend that they try to hit that early application deadline. And for the reason, obviously, that I mentioned, that, we don't want them to burn out and feel fatigued and throw their hands up at the process, because that can happen. But the other big reason why is because many colleges will offer scholarships to students who apply early. Many colleges offer many scholarships, right? But for example, I know students, you are probably sick of hearing me talk about this, but like Rhodes College is here in town, and I'll just use them as an example. They have an early application deadline of November 15th. And for students who apply, they hear back by December 15th, if they've been accepted or not. And then they have until February 1st to apply for scholarships that are really only open to students who have already been accepted, and and that would mean that they applied early. And that can be the case for a lot of colleges. And so that's one of the reasons why, or the big reason why, because, it's big scholarship money opportunity, that I recommend that students apply early decision or early action. More students apply early action. Early action, the difference between action and decision is that early action is not binding. It is simply an early application that expresses, really solid interest in a college. But it's not, you don't have any big commitment when you apply early action. Early decision is something that's not all schools, but some colleges offer, and that's where schools will ask you to sign a contract that says, yes, I will definitely come to your school if I'm accepted, and I will come up with that money. Like, you better believe it. And so when I talk to students about the difference between the two, I just try to communicate that, in really simple terms, that early decision is not offered by every college, but for the ones who do offer it, just so you know, you're kind of signing your name over in blood when you apply early decision. Early action is not binding, so it's more flexible, and you have the choice. Either way, those deadlines usually fall between November 1st and then, like I said, today I just discovered a school that had a December 1st deadline. So we just want to be prepared. I was talking with a student and their mom last week about how it would be really nice for seniors who are planning on applying early to actually be finished with their application and ready to, hit submit, maybe by like October 27th. That's a Friday. And that means that, your student can take a big sigh of relief and go and enjoy Halloween with friends, the next week, if that's something that they're into. But then that way, like, if anything comes up, there's a little bit of wiggle room there. We don't anticipate, catching a cold and then getting behind on the work. And so, it's nice to have a couple of days of buffer room there. So just know that that is an option. All right, let me show you all. Okay, so I talked about school links, and I'm not sure why that text is not showing up on there, but anyhow, School Links is our software platform that we are using for college and career planning, and this is for everyone, regardless of plans. There's lots of exploration that's going to happen in School Links as well. So if you have a senior at Crosstown, they'll have access to all of that that career exploration. And also, if you have any younger students, if you have a 9th grader or 10th grader, they will have access to it too. This is a new software platform, and I'm going to actually try to exit out let me go back, exit out of this so that I can show it to you. This is a new to our school software platform that I am super excited about because I've used the other ones, and then this one scratches all of Crosstown's college and career itches, you could say. So when a student will log in, and this is a demo account, meaning there is not really a Benjamin Clemmer. It's just you know, an example. Like, students can come over here on the left. Oh wait, yes, you can see. Students can come over here on the left, and there is a feed that has scholarships for them to apply to, that has volunteer opportunities, and this also, once we are fully set up and running with it, will have job opportunities and internships as well. Our community partners database will live in here, and they'll be able to post opportunities here as well. So one of the great things about School Links is that students can work on it, of course, like with an adult nearby if they want to, but it's very independent and very intuitive. If there are questions that students have about financial aid and they're like, how does all of this work? We have all of these basically like learning activities, videos that they can watch on scholarships, FAFSA, and there is a financial aid calculator here. Going back to the homepage here, they're going to basically have like certain targets that they've got to hit in here, as far as creating that balanced final list, filling out the FAFSA, submitting their applications, and then you know, this is not entirely built out, but it's just kind of an outline for potential. And then here in the activities section, they can do all kinds of actually really interesting and fun assessments. Maybe they can play Would You Rather and confirm the things that you parents have been, you know, that you know to be true about them. These are fun too, because sometimes you'll see that in the results, there are public figures listed, which is always a big conversation starter for students, where they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was like, you know, Spider-Man, here I am. And then as far as colleges go, they have all of the tools here for searching for colleges, and based on all different filters and things that students are interested in. If they want to take a VR tour, they can. But they can go and read about all of the different universities and read stats on them, and just kind of get an idea for what's out there. They also have great videos from current students, descriptions of campus settings. I do not agree at all with average monthly temperatures, because I think we all know that the average is not 78 degrees in Knoxville in August. So I do have to disagree with that. But it is nice to know more about each school as far as like walkability, bikeability, and what transit is available. So there's a world of a wealth of knowledge to be found there in that college school search. They can favorite schools, you know, similarly to how we favorite things in online stores, and that eventually kind of leads them to their final list. I don't believe that Benjamin Clemmer has finished his final list. And here we call them, rather than safety, they call them likely, target, and reach. And so we will complete these and fill these out together. The really exciting part is when they finally reach the point where they're ready for college applications. And so their applications will, you know, they'll be able to manage and keep it organized in here. This demo may not go very far as of right now, but they'll be able to see. Okay, I was hoping that I'd be able to just do what I want, but you know, they want to do what they want to do. But the nice thing is that this connects to Common App so that we can send documents and keep track of what documents are where and what tasks need to be done because this process is really complicated and long. So we'll make sure that it's also hooked up with the FAFSA, so that way we know that that's been filled out. And then of course, when students are finished, I'm going to try to get out of this. And then of course, when students are finished, they can put in their actual enrollment decision and complete that. There's also so much career exploration, and then actual opportunities are going to be available through here. We're working towards having our work-based learning program in this software database as well. And then there's the college financing and scholarship matching section, which we have never had before. And I am over the moon for this, because a lot of these scholarship websites often feel like you're signing up for a sweepstakes rather than, really applying for a scholarship that seems like it's a good fit and you feel like you're a good candidate for. So the scholarship matching is going to be really helpful. Oh goodness, there was one other feature. Oh, and we will definitely be going through, as far as like the learning plans that they have, we will definitely use these as a resource. The recommendation letters, college essays, we have, like I said, a wealth of tools here in School Links. So oh goodness, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I just am excited to show that to you. Parents, you will be able to access your parent account probably by the end of next week. I'll send out the information on how to basically like claim your student within their database, if it's something that you feel like you are curious about and you want to look into as well. But I'm going to hop back over here really quickly, because I want to make sure that for any students who are planning on really working towards their improving their ACT score or their SAT score, that you all know that there is free test prep through Memphis Communiversity. It says on this flyer that it's free ACT tutoring, but it's actually helpful for the SAT as well if you are an SAT tester. But they are, I highly recommend them. They are totally free. So that is definitely something to check out, and I can send that information, or at least post it again in Parent Square so that you all have access to it. I'm gonna actually skip down, let's see, to this slide here. This one is about, I want to encourage all of you to, if you have not had the chance already, encourage you to go with your senior on a tour of a college campus. And it doesn't have to be a college that they are in love with. It's just a good idea for them to get their feet on the campus, look around, see what they see that interests them, see what they see that they know is not for them. So if you're not able to travel to maybe go to a campus that your student is interested in, go to University of Memphis. They have a fantastic tour. Go to Lemoyne Owen, Christian Brothers, Rhodes, and Southwest Tennessee Community College. They all offer fantastic campus tours. And it's just a great idea for your student to be able to, if they have not already, to just kind of know what's out there and maybe try to think about where they see themselves. The attendance form that we have for Crosstown High students, that you've probably filled out before if your student has ever missed school and they've been sick, at the very end of that attendance form, there is an area where you can upload a file of some sort, whether it is, a PDF or a JPEG. I think you can upload either. But that is the spot where you can also say like, hey, my student was out because we were touring a college. And so there have been a couple of times when I have filled that form out when my student has been visiting a college, and the whole time I'm filling it out, I'm thinking, I think this is just for sick kids. Are we sure that this is going to reach a point where there's a blank for me to put in the document? And then of course it's there. So just be sure to have some sort of proof. And I've told students, like, you know, get a photo of yourself with your tour guide, or if you have like sometimes schools will give you an actual excuse, colleges will, but I highly recommend taking the time to do that. You know, whether it's on an afternoon when your student is, you know, in a course where they've completed all of their work for the quarter, or, you know, it may be that you all travel and you do get out of town, and it does take more than a day. It's definitely worth it. It's such an enriching experience. And even for students who discover that is not what I thought it was, it's really valuable, you know, like they need to be able to see all of the possibilities. So that is one that I want to make sure that y'all know about, before we wrap up. Okay. So as far as the essay resources go, you heard me mention the Rhodes College essay workshop that we have here at school. We and that is free, of course. There's also a wonderful creative writing and English teacher here at Crosstown. Elizabeth Coleman is her name. She also offers essay writing help during the month of September, and probably in October too, during the academic support enrichment. So I highly recommend, for students who maybe choose not to do the Rhodes workshop, working with Miss Coleman. She really is, has been helpful to many seniors over the past 2 years, when it came to offering feedback. Maybe the senior didn't sign up for the Rhodes workshop and thought this is a better fit for me. You know, however it goes down, just know that that is another option, and Miss Coleman offers that, of course, for free. And then there are some seniors who maybe are already, you know, maybe they're really strong writers and they think, I have my own process for writing, and they have a lot of experience with it. And so for those students, if they want to, they can approach other English and creative writing teachers here at Crosstown to get feedback. Like if they have a draft and they're looking for feedback, that's another option as well that's free. I do know that there are some families who will hire a professional essay editor. And actually my next door neighbor is one, and I have recommended her to some families in the past. I don't specifically know the rate. I think that it's expensive, but it's there. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows that that is an option, that is not free, but again, it is there. And okay, this process can sometimes make us feel a little bit untethered. I always show students this funny shark that has no idea what it's doing, because it can feel that way sometimes. But that's why I'm here, is to help you feel a little more tethered to this process. And so seniors who are in the room, I'm here for you. I think you know that. And again, starting on Monday, we're really going to dig in, because we're going to have access to school links, and you guys can go ahead and set up a Common App account and nose around in there. I discourage you from completing the whole thing, because it's a long process and you're going to need some help, but yeah, maybe get familiar with it. In the month of September, I'm going to have some small group enrichment to work on some of these things, some of these tasks. And then also students can meet with me one-on-one, if that is a better fit for them. And then after school, I have sessions on Wednesdays in August and September. There was a small group that was here today after school from 3:15 to about 4 o'clock. It was probably actually 4:02 when I let them go. But today we talked through some basics of the Common App. And so I'm here every Wednesday from 3:15 to 4 to make sure that students have another means of accessing, some help. That doesn't work for everybody because a lot of students work after school, or they might have other commitments. But just know that that's another option if they're not able to meet with me during the school day. Okay. I think that's all. Let me make sure that okay, there it is. There's my email. And I know that you all have seen it a million times, but I'm putting it up there on the screen. So now that I've run through all those slides and you all have been so patient listening to me talk and talk and talk, I am going to answer questions that I see here in the chat. Okay. So there's a question asking if all schools take both ACT and SAT. Is one more highly thought of in general? Or do all universities accept both ACT and SAT? So that's interesting. Most colleges, yes, like they will accept both if you decide that you want to submit your scores. And my recommendation when it comes to submitting test scores is that if you're senior, or hey, seniors, if you have worked really, really hard to prepare to take the ACT or the SAT, and you took the test and you got your scores back, and you're really proud of them, like really, truly, genuinely proud of your score, I think that it's a good idea to submit it. It can be different for every student. There are some students who maybe they didn't put as much time in or make it the priority because they did some research and found that their colleges that they're applying to are test optional. And if that's the case, that's okay. You don't have to submit your test scores. That's one of the reasons why, it's nice that it's optional. I will say that there are schools that are definitely staying test optional that are totally uninterested in your standardized test scores and permanently. And then there are others that maybe were test optional and have returned to requiring an ACT score. I know that colleges in the Tennessee state system during the pandemic, they were test optional, but now they're not. They do require a score and a minimum score as well. So that's something to think about when it comes to applying to different colleges. And no, one is not necessarily preferred over the other. And again, there are some schools that are not even interested in standardized test scores anymore. It just depends on the college. And on the flip side of that, there are some schools that if you do have, say, a high standardized test score, they'll offer you more scholarship money. And then some that don't. It's all over the place. And I hope that you all will, I hope that your students will talk with me about the strategy and how that can work. Oh yes, and I see another question about, some schools do not require them. My child applied to schools that were all test optional. And so that meant that their application looked, like the big pieces of that were the transcript, with her grades and GPA and the courses that she had taken, and her essay. So there really, there was no other, sort of evidence or, I don't know what to call it. I don't want to call it a measure because I don't think that those standardized tests are a measure of, they're really just a measure of how you take the test. And that can go different ways and serve different people in different ways. But, yeah, so it's not necessarily required by every school, and none of hers required it. Is there a limit to the number of days that are excused for college visits? Okay, this is a great question. And it has come up in the past quite a bit because there are times when, maybe you're on fall break and on the way somewhere, or maybe like coming off of a weekend and you're on the way somewhere, and it's convenient to stop in at one school on the front end and then maybe go on the trip and then one school on the back end. And it gets a little bit tricky trying to figure out, what feels reasonable. And I feel like in the past, Ms. Stockwell and Ms. Rhonda have both examined those just on a case-by-case basis. So, if you want to, if you want to take a trip to go and visit several colleges, like we understand that there's travel time in between those. But it gets a little bit tricky when, and I'm only using this as an example because it really happened, where like, there's a family who's like, hey, we really want to go visit this college on our way to Disney World. And that's when we have to say, we can't excuse your child from visiting Disney World, but we definitely can for the college visits. So that's just something to talk with Miss Rhonda and Miss Stockwell about when it comes to like lots of days. Oh my gracious, y'all, it's 6:25. I'm going to answer this last question and then let you go because I don't want to hold you hostage anymore. Okay. The question is, if my son scored high the first time and scored lower than the next time, will they take the higher score? Yes. Okay. So this is a great question. When it comes to standardized testing, your student can choose which scores they want to send to a college if they send any at all. And the ACT will do what's called super scoring, which is like basically creating the best of for your student. And yeah, like you have a lot of control over that. So we'll definitely talk more about that when we get further into the semester and start, when we take the tests and when we send the scores. Okay. So again, my email's up on the screen. If any other questions come up tonight, if you hop off the meeting and think of something, feel free to email me. And like I said, there are lots of students who have, had a lot of FaceTime with me here at school so far. And then some who maybe haven't seen me as much yet. I promise, like, we're on it. We are going to just keep on rolling with this. We got, we keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when it feels overwhelming. I tell our students, we're just going to do the next thing, and keep on rolling with this. And the path is going to reveal itself. The thing that feels like it's the right fit is going to reveal itself. Our students are, historically have really been open to the possibility of this process lending space and opportunity for discovery and a little serendipity, and they, even if it's not where they originally thought they'd land, they find the right fit. So I really appreciate you all being here tonight and also listening, because it's a lot of me talking and I'm sorry for that, but it's just a lot of information. And again, email me if you have questions. I'm available, and I hope you have a great night, and I appreciate you all. And I really am enjoying getting to know your kids. Oh my gosh, they're so fabulous. So yeah, I hope y'all have a great night. And yeah, we're going to get really busy next week. So seniors, get ready. It's on. I'll see you all soon. Good night.